With my story, I want to encourage you to get involved, no matter your context or your background. Diversity and inclusion can mean different things in different contexts, and it's important that each of us understand our own context and then work within it, taking concrete steps to bring about change. I'm Jon Venverloh. I'm a director of program management for Google Shopping. I grew up in the US, but for the last 2 years have lived in Zurich, Switzerland. In the US, I primarily thought of diversity and inclusion as an effort to counteract racial biases so that we could eventually eradicate those biases. But in Zurich, diversity and inclusion is more about counteracting gender biases, particularly concerning the hiring, promotion, and retention of women in engineering. I grew up in Houston, Texas, and when I was a child, busing started in Houston. Busing is the practice of taking school children from one part of town to schools often distant from their homes in order to achieve a predetermined racial mix among students at every school. In those days, some people in my predominantly white neighborhood were hostile towards busing and hostile towards the African American kids who were being brought into the school. I knew that way of thinking was wrong, but as a little kid, I didn't really know what to do about it. In grad school in California, I had some opportunities to explore race relations in some depth. I made some close friends, women and men, who are African American. Lindsay became a friend, and Lindsay had grown up in Houston as well, but in a very poor part of Houston, and she had experienced the other side of busing. We both invested in understanding each other, and she really helped me have empathy for an experience so different from my own. And with another Stanford classmate, Jason, I spent many hours in candid talks about his experience growing up in poverty and overcoming racial bias. Back at Google, I hosted Jason for a fireside chat in front of about 200 senior engineering leaders. Jason shared how his perspective has made him a better leader, better able to recruit great people, better able to drive business outcomes. And since then, we've been invited to speak in front of even larger groups of senior leaders at Google. Googlers want to understand what diversity and inclusion means, how to foster it, and how we can all work together to make Google a better place. And we each need to find practical ways to do that. In Zurich, I'm studying why women on average feel less included, less respected than their peers in other parts of the world. I'm looking at why our hiring and promotion rates are not where they should be. I joined the Google Women in Engineering group as an ally, and through that group I've been able to better understand women's experiences. I don't know all the answers, but I am excited that Google is investing here, and I encourage you also to get involved. Thank you.